Hey, welcome back to DieCash Cars. So today we're going to be reviewing this Liberty Walk Nissan Skyline ER34 Super Silhouette. Not made by INNO64, but INNO18 because this is a 1/18 scale car. But before we get started, I just wanted to give a shout out to James Kim over there at modelcarhouston. He was able to hook me up with this piece even though I was late to the pre-order game. Was able to get this off his website basically at retail. So definitely reach out to him over there for all your premium JDM Euro needs. Everything from Fuel Me, Ignition Model, Mini GT to Eno. I will make sure to leave a link to his website, modelcarhouston.com, as well as his YouTube page. He does do some awesome YouTube video reviews on all the latest and greatest that he's picking up for his shop. So definitely check him out over there. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get this car out of pack. So first off, I don't typically review packaging, but this one's just too nice not to talk about. Gotta give credit where credit's due, but as you take this car out of the sleeve, it's kind of got this like tunnel effect, where the car is coming, you can see it's coming through the die cuts in the sleeve, and then it exposes the silhouette of the car. So rightfully so, because this is the super silhouette version. Taking this lid off the car. Another thing that's really neat is that this car opens up on the side, so that's pretty unique. Again, pretty secure in here. It's got all the foam to protect it through shipping, and then you can essentially just display the car just like this, which is pretty neat. And there you have it. I mean, it looks awesome. It does come with an acrylic case as well too, which is really neat. Not all 1/18 cars come with these acrylic cases, so good job from Eno on that standpoint. Let me get it out of pack and we can get a better look at it here. So there we have it out of pack. It looks really good, guys, for a 1/18 scale. Just checking out all the details. I mean, the thing you don't get with 164, I mean, obviously the depth and all the details, right? So the headlights especially, I mean, it looks like it could be the real deal, all the way down to the very aggressive front bumper with the built-in splitter, all the fender arches, front and rear quarter panels. It's got the side exhaust here, all the tampo work, so never a shortage of licensing. It's got the taillights on the back, and from an accuracy standpoint, they hit it right on the head, because Liberty Walk, when they made this car, they took out the little orange LEDs inside of the circle taillights. So it's just all red, and it just matches the two-tone paint there. So attention to detail, on par. The other thing that I really like about 1/18s and what Eno did here was that these wheels are the exact wheels. They're not replicas, they're not generic. These are the actual Advan wheels that are on the car. And what's even better is that they even got the tires licensed as well too. So Yokohama Advance. So I don't even think Ignition Model does that. So I would say Ignition Model is somewhat a higher tier of 1/18 model, and they don't even put the actual licensing on their tires. So I think that's pretty awesome that Eno did that. The one thing I will say about this model that I don't like is that the tampo work could have been a little bit smoother. So for instance, if you look at this Nissan logo here, and again, hopefully it'll come up in the video here, but you can see it clearly looks like a sticker was just placed on this car. What I've seen Ignition Model do is they precision cut all the graphics, put them on, and then put a clear coat or a lacquer on top of it, so it makes it more seamless, right? But some of these graphics on this car, I mean, you can see they just look like stickers that were put on after the fact, and I honestly feel like, so like right here, I mean, you can kind of see this little line here, that's the edge of the sticker, and it feels like I could just peel it off if I wanted to. So hopefully moving forward they do a little bit better of a job there, but otherwise, detail wise, is amazing. I mean, look at this wing, all the attention to detail on this one. They even got the little mini fins right at the edge here. They got all the logos. Let me lift it up, you can even see they did even get the Liberty well, the silhouette works underneath the spoiler as well too. So again, really nice touch. All the details are there. Interior wise, all the details are there. Again, this was, you know, based after the race car, so you know, obviously there's not going to be crazy amount of detail in there. Very bare, like any race car would be. One thing that's interesting is that they did choose to do a gloss interior, which is odd. I don't know if that's how it is in real life or not, but nonetheless, I mean, for this model, it looks pretty good. So yeah, overall, I think ENNO has done a really good job. You know, moving forward, if they do put out more 118s, which I'm sure they will, I'll definitely keep an eye out for them. So this Liberty Walk ER34 had actually debuted. The actual car had debuted at the 2020 Tokyo Auto Salon, and ever since that car came out, I mean, it's been a hit. It's been all over the car community. I personally fell in love with it as soon as it was released at the show, and I knew for sure that if it came out in any form of diecast, any scale, I would be all over it. But what's weird was, I guess I just sort of got distracted. So I know like CM Model, they put out the 164. They were essentially the first one out the gate. ENNO had their pre-orders for the 164, and then they announced the 118. Ignition Model earlier this year had announced their 118, which is on pre-order currently, but won't get to customers until late 2022, which was a big turnoff for me. So honestly, again, as I mentioned earlier, I was late to all the pre-orders, and I didn't really have a lot of intention to buy it, even though I had a lot of interest in the car when it was debuted. What really got me back into this cast and this car was Mountaindrifters. So Hot Wheels Mountaindrifters, it's a car culture set. I believe it's the next one to be released, and you know, the second they revealed that was going to be their next car culture set, I mean, I fell in love with this R34 all over again. And you know, that day I remember I went on online and I put in my pre-orders for multiple sets of Mountaindrifters. So a little bit of a spoiler, I will be doing a review on that as soon as I get my cars in. But I just couldn't wait. I mean, the ETA on those was set for May, June, so hopefully sooner rather than later, but I just couldn't wait. So I jumped online, and that's when I was looking for the 164 version of this ER34 from Liberty Walk, and I mean, they were all either sold out or very pricey on eBay. I mean, $50 to $100, and I just didn't want to pay that much for a 164. And then I started to think, well, why not a 118, right? I mean, I could add to my 118 collection. It's actually been a while since I've purchased a 118, so I went and looked at the Ignition Model. I didn't want to wait until the end of the year to get it, and so I kind of turned to ENNO, and I thought I actually missed on all the pre-orders, but again, modelcarhouston had one left, and it was so meant to be, because after I purchased it, it actually sold out on their website. So again, shout out to modelcarhouston. I think James knew that I was coming to get this one. But yeah, this is definitely here just to tide me over until Mountaindrifters comes, and it'll be awesome to just have that 164 from Hot Wheels, and better believe I'll be doing another comparison video for everybody on that one. So 118s, how investable are they? So I've been collecting 118s. I actually have a pretty decent sized 118 collection. I just haven't actually shared it on this channel yet, but I will honestly tell you guys, they're not very investable. And the reason being is because the market for 118s is pretty small, and it's spread out across the entire world, right? So it's not like we're Hot Wheels, you can buy and sell and trade all within the United States. If you buy 118s, most likely you're going to be looking to buy, sell, and trade with folks all over the world, which obviously adds to shipping costs and everything, which really brings down your profitability. So this model here, as I mentioned earlier, I pretty much got it for retail, which was around $260 shipped out the door, and that's pretty typical for 118 scales. They usually retail for around that $300 range, plus or minus. Once they hit the secondary market, they do list for quite a bit, $500 to $600. If it's a really limited model, like in the hundreds, they can go as far as like 800 to 1,000. But the key word there is listed. They don't typically sell, at least they don't sell very fast, right? So that's why the market for 118s is relatively slow. And if you're willing to buy and sit for a long duration of time, chances are you will eventually find a buyer, which does technically make 118s investable, but it's just not as liquid. It's not as free flow from a transaction standpoint to where you can really put a lot of effort into it and make back a good return. I would much rather recommend 118s from a collector standpoint. So if you really like a car or a cast or a specific release, right, it's worth getting it in 118 just so that you have it, you know, in a version where you can see all the details, you know, essentially as close to real life as possible. That's what I do with my 118s. I don't buy 118s unless it's something that I really like and I really do enjoy. What would make 118s more investable moving forward? I think it really comes down to the mainstream brands. So Hot Wheels, Auto World, Matchbox, for example. Obviously, they're primarily 164, but let's say, for instance, if they were to ever make a 118, I think that would open up collectors to collecting a larger scale, in which case I think that would bring a lot more collectors over to the 118 brands, and that would ultimately boost value. So the one thing about 118 scales too, typically they're resin models, and the process of making a resin model is pretty intricate to where the dies don't last too long. So there's always a finite model of these 118 scales. So I could see a mainstream brand going to 118, making these lower production quantity cars that already exist shoot up in value. I guess how awesome would it be to see Hot Wheels go back, make a 118 scale, which I actually have one here. Don't mind its condition. I'm actually in the middle of detailing it and making it look a little bit better. But how awesome would it be to see a Hot Wheels 118 scale Super Treasure Hunt, Spectre Flame on a Zamac body with opening features? That would spike the 118 market, and I am waiting for that one. Just given how hot Hot Wheels is right now, I could totally see them jumping back into the 118 game. So that's what I got for you guys today. Just wanted to showcase this 118 from INNO18. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you're able to pick one up, or if you have pre-orders for Mountaindrifters. I'm sure, just like me, you guys can't wait to get that set in hand. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time on DieCash Cars.